It's trade deal deadline day, and President Trump wants the world's best offers on his desk.
USTR sent this letter to all of our trading partners just to give them a friendly reminder that the deadline is coming up. And they are in talks. Ambassador Greer, Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick are in talks with many of our key trading partners around the globe. And this letter was simply to remind these countries that the deadline is approaching and the president expects good deals, and we are on track for that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Big Money Show. I'm Brian Brenberg, along with my co-host Taylor Riggs, Dagan McDowell, Jackie DeAngelis, and with us for the hour, Slate Stone Wealth Chief Market Strategist Kenny Polcari. Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Well, the administration sent formal letters to America's trading partners asking for final proposals. This is a wave of new steel and aluminum tariffs take effect. And one country looms larger than the rest. President Trump says China isn't negotiating in good faith. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says it's time for Beijing to choose to be a reliable partner. Kenny Polcari, what do you make of that? Trade deal deadline day, what's going to happen?
So I don't think you're going to get all these trade deals that suddenly come to the table and say, okay, here we are. I think you're going to get, kind of just this in and out. Slowly, it'll happen. But I don't think you're going to get anyone today that's going to say we got these 10 deals signed, sealed, and delivered. So I don't think anyone should expect that. I don't think the market expects it either. And so therefore, I think the market's going to continue to churn. I think China's going to be a problem. I think that he's made it very clear. I don't think China's just going to roll over. I think they're going to play hardball, and we're going to see that in the next couple of weeks play out.
Jackie, it's ultimatum day. I know you feel about ultimatums. You're not always a big fan of those. Interesting to hear President Trump post on Truth Social that President Xi is a tough trading partner. I kind of thought that was a known quantity. What do you make of that post? Is he kind of setting us up for something there? What's he trying to say?
I'm not sure. I agree with you that there's always a motive behind every post, and I'm not sure which this one is. It seems kind of obvious to me to think that Xi is a difficult person to make a deal with. Of course he's going to be difficult, and he's not going to give you exactly what you want right off the bat. Howard Lutnick made the point that these are trade deals that typically take 3 years to do with each country, and they're trying to do it in 90 days. I think they're trying to accomplish a lot in a very short amount of time. I don't think that the deal has to be a full deal. I think they'll take small wins with different countries, including China, if they can get them. Having said that, I just think about personal experience, and you're chuckling about the ultimatum thing, but I said this yesterday. Anytime someone gives someone else an ultimatum, it's usually, to me, feels like it's a move of desperation with respect to them saying you have to do this or you have to do it now, because if things were going well, you wouldn't have to do that if there was a constructive conversation. So I just worry about what that means. I mean, I look at the market. Market sees that she's difficult to do a deal with, and the market doesn't seem to care. So at the end of the day, there's some trust, some confidence in what the president is doing, and some belief that the outcome will be okay. But we'll see. We'll see how successful this is.
Dagan, Caroline Levitt called them friendly reminder letters. Do you read it as a friendly reminder, or are you with Jackie that maybe it's a sign things aren't going quite the way the administration wants?
Everything with the Trump administration is, in part, performative, and so it is carefully orchestrated for the viewing public. And so this is an outward show that they're doing something. So rather than just negotiating behind the scenes as it might happen quietly out of view, this is a way to keep the American people informed of the progress or where they're going. Oh, we're sending them letters. This is where we are right now. And there was some good signs coming out of the European Union trade negotiator meeting with our trade negotiator. There was even a statement related to the meeting with Jameson Greer. But I want to talk about China and what President Trump was saying. The phrase that is often used is a strategic decoupling from China, if that's the way we go. I'm going to just start calling it a coordinated crippling of China, that should be the goal with all of our trading partners with which we have great not only economic relations, but geopolitical relations, because China, at all costs, wants to crush the United States of America. COVID, fentanyl, And I just want to point to the 2 Chinese students at the University of Michigan who were just charged this week with smuggling a fungus, essentially a weapon of terrorism, a bioweapon, into the United States. This is 5 University of Michigan students last year were charged with espionage-related crimes for sneaking into a base that's near the University of Michigan. That it is very clear, by the way, the female student who was here working in this lab at the University of Michigan, it was her boyfriend who smuggled in these bags of fungus that cause disease that can cripple our crops, wheat, barley, maize, and rice, and also cause problems, like physical problems. That she had tried to do this before, that she had been caught trying to smuggle these biologics into the United States before. So it just raises the question that China is trying to target every aspect of what we eat, how we power our economy, how we function in our daily lives. And don't forget, China, in a secret meeting just a few months ago, 2 months ago, acknowledged its role in infrastructure hacks, hacking into computer networks at U.S. ports, our water utilities, our airports, and other targets. And I encourage people to go read this charging document because it is the scariest damn thing that you will read of these 2 University of Michigan students. So again, our goal should be to crush China. And why the hell Apple is still making iPhones there and why I even have one sitting in front of me is beyond.
Well, it's interesting, Taylor, because Scott Besson, when he talks about China, is talking less about those bigger national security issues. Yeah. He's much more focused on China's economy. He says, you guys got to become more of a consumer economy. That's the trade issue. Is he missing the boat on that, or do you think that's where the administration's going to keep their focus?
Yeah, no, I think Scott Besson is right to talk about we consume 5 times as much as what China consumes from us. And so therein lies the rub, right, of how we're trying to inflict 5 times as much pain when we, the buyer, the shopper, close down our shop and say, we're not shopping with you anymore, try to find a new shopper. And China needs shoppers. To support their economy. We've talked a lot about the declines in the manufacturing and the export orders. But I come to you today, Brian, and I think maybe yesterday I was a half glass full and maybe today I'm a little bit of a half glass empty. I think we talked yesterday about the awesome numbers with the JOLTS data, with the S&P manufacturing data that looked good. And then today, around some of the tariffs, we're getting a different picture. Within ADP, which we should note, has lost its great correlation with the Friday jobs number. So I want everyone to take today's number with a grain of salt. Friday is the number we probably care about a little bit more. But small companies under 50 workers shed 13,000 jobs. Large companies shed 59,000 jobs. It's only, the medium-sized businesses that are growing. The ISM numbers as well, this is non-manufacturing, but I'll just read some anecdotes from what some of the companies are saying and why I don't mind the delay in all the tariffs, but it leads to more uncertainty. And I think what markets and businesses like is just give me a number so I can plan. Here's what a construction business said. Planning is difficult for projects that might be scheduled in 22 to 33 months. An information company. It's not clear what duties apply and when. Our best plan is to delay decisions as long as possible. Here's what a transportation company had to say. We've tried to budget for an increase in the cost of tariffs, but it's been a moving target. Overall, we're seeing a leveling off in business activity, but we don't know if it's temporary or long-lasting. So these are companies that are writing in, and they're not saying all hell is breaking loose, and we're not hiring, and we've stopped ordering. They're just saying it's hard to plan and make decisions. And so I think with this administration, what I would like is let's get some clarity. Let's get some decisions made so companies and businesses can start planning.
Is that why we got today's deadline, Jackie? Is that part of resolving the uncertainty issue?
I mean, it could be. At the end of the day, whatever it is they're looking to achieve, even if it's small pieces of a deal, small steps with certain countries, the sooner we have them, the better. I think the president also understands that time is of the essence with the bill, and that seems to be moving in the direction that he wants it to. So he wants to kind of bring some of this together and tie it with a big bow so he can say, look, American people, I've delivered for you. These were some of the things I've promised, and here we are. We have them, and we're not even far into the term.
Kenny, markets didn't react strongly to that ADP number, nor did they react strongly to the ISM services number, both of which I thought might have moved things a little.
Right. I'm not so sure about the ADP. I agree with you. I think people tend to put that number aside, especially it was way off from the expectation. So I think that looks like an outlier to me. But the ISM one is interesting because it was the ISM services PMI.
Yep.
We are a 75% services economy. That number is very important. So the fact that we went from expansionary territory to just under the neutral line into contractionary territory should start to raise a little bit of eyebrows. I'll be the first one to say I was always in the camp that I thought the economy remains robust. Numbers like this in the services side of the economy start to maybe get me to think about it a little more, whether or not I think the economy is slowing enough for the Fed to have to do something. I'm still in the camp that they shouldn't, but